Welcome to the Town Board meeting, Thursday, October 21st. Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Emergency exits are to my right behind the town attorney and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Supervisor Perotti?
Here.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Here.
Samoji?
Here.
Gutierrez?
Here.
Morris?
Here. Public comment?
Whoever wants to go first. Just state your name. Get right at the podium.
Hi all, my name is Dan Sheridan. Sorry. Hi all, my name is Dan Sheridan. I'm the President and Sustainability Director for ARC 38. We're an environmental sustainability and outdoor survival education center located on 426 Old Route 22. We are presenting an application to the board to waive the fees for a building permit for our greenhouse. Thank you.
See any other public comment?
I would like to speak briefly to the idea of assessments. I was at the candidates night meeting and I have zero desire to get into the politics of all of it, but I really think that people need to understand what the consequences of tax certioraries for assessments can mean for the town and the school district. I happen to be on the school board, so I'm aware of it in a way that people generally probably aren't. In 2019, when the first round of Silo Ridge assessments went on, I guess there was some negotiating after the tentative roll was accepted, because on August 1st of 2019, 98,621,517 assessments were lowered. Luckily, the county gave us time to refigure, because of course the school district doesn't have the luxury of knowing what the assessments are before we have to set our tax rate. And luckily they gave us extra time so that we could reconfigure the tax rate based on the lowered assessments, or the school district would have had to pay about $1,100,000 in refunds out of that year's tax collections. That's not a small thing. That's not something we would have been able to do. We have a tax certiorari fund, but not $1.5 million. And if certioraries are filed that are going to be lost or settled, or however one wants to phrase it, the impact on the public entities that depend on those taxes is huge, because that money needs to be paid back. And we have no way to recover it, because once the taxes are collected, that train has left the station. So we have a number of certioraries still against us, and not by any means only from Silo Ridge. There are a number of exemptions that apparently are being grieved, and from what I can see in looking over the 300 certioraries I looked at today, a number of them are being won. And again, that's money we wind up having to pay back. We paid $83,000 in March of 2020 for exemptions that were not allowed. We paid $63,000 another time. As I say, I'm just trying to inform the public of the fact that whether you think someone ought to be paying more or not, putting an assessment out there that then gets changed later can be very damaging to the town, the county, and the school district. And I would like to ask that this be considered when assessments are being done, because so far it doesn't appear we're winning a lot of them, and there are a lot out there to come still. So that's all. I just, if we wind up having to pay $1 million back, don't come complaining to the school, because we have nothing to do with it. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Deirdre?
Hi all, Deirdre Houston, Dutchess County Legislator. I'm here tonight just to give you a quick update on some things that affect Town of Amenia as per the county. As of yesterday, Dutchess County has been approved for additional disaster assistance from FEMA in the wake of Hurricane Ida. I know last time I was here, Councilman Gutierrez asked me about it, and so I'm happy to report that now homeowners, renters, and businesses in Dutchess County who experience property or income damage can now register for assistance, regardless whether damage estimates were originally provided. So this is good news if someone had damage to their home or their business or loss of income. The fastest way to apply right now is disasterassistance.gov. Enter your zip code and then click apply. Obviously, if you don't have the internet, there's a phone number for FEMA. It's 800-621-FEMA or 3362. The FEMA program includes grants for repairs and rent of alternative housing, low-interest disaster loans from the Small Business Association, and grants for other unmet needs. So I really encourage anybody who had damage that was not able to apply residentially prior to this. Obviously, municipalities were able to apply, but now it's direct to residents and homeowners. So I think it's a really important step if people had damage that they feel compelled and are able to apply. Again, anyone needs help with it, feel free to reach out. I'm always available to at least get contacts to people.
Is that Hurricane Ida specifically?
Correct, yes. It's on duchessny.gov currently as well, so feel free to peruse the Dutchess website, or of course reach out to me. But yes, it's really good news for people who were impacted. I know there was a significant impact, so it's nice that Dutchess County has been able to provide that. I just want to talk about a little bit about the upcoming 2022 budget, and again, how it affects residents. The county legislature, along with the county executive, are considering it and I believe will pass the sales tax exemption on clothing and footwear under $110. That will be for all residents. It will most likely start in March, and the significance of March is that is after the beginning of the sales tax quarter. So March 1st starts a new sales tax quarter, and I believe we will have that in place for March, which I think is good news for the town of Amenia and Dutchess County. Also, with the 2022 rollout budget, we're looking at over 10% tax rate decrease. It will provide $20 million in tax relief to Dutchess County residents while expanding services to veterans and expanding services to mental health services countywide. Obviously, there's mental health services out here that are not as easy accessible. So hopefully with this money, we will also start that mental health RV that we talked about earlier in the year that the county has funded, and the RV has been purchased and it will be a mobile unit, and so now it's being outfitted as per specs through the Board of Health. And lastly, I want to congratulate your town clerk. I don't know if you guys are aware, but she has been named the New York State Association of Court Clerks for New York State. She is the president of that association for the year. So I think that's great news for the town residents to have someone at the spearhead of the Court Clerks Association. So I just want to congratulate you, Dawn Marie. Nice job.
Thank you.
If you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer to the best of my ability.
Are all of the funds expended that were set aside for youth programs?
No.
I need to talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
I will contact you because I do have a, as we had discussed earlier,
Yep.
a possible nonprofit that would help.
Yes, they've just announced some more grants, and many youth programs in the town of Washington have been awarded some money. And I know the Amenia Library was awarded $50,000, but there certainly is still money out there. It was $3.1 million, and that's not all used up, and
Thank
it will expire at the end of the year. So we should, get moving on it.
Going.
Yep.
Thank you.
And just lastly, I didn't see your agenda tonight, but I'm assuming you guys are good on the community block development grant. If you're planning on apply, you have the dates and the deadlines and...
Yeah, we're going to be scheduling a public hearing.
Great, okay. So if you need help, of course, letter of support, I'm always willing to help, but I just want to make sure you have the dates. So, thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Go ahead.
Hello, my name's DJ Riley. I do a lot with the baseball teams and stuff. I'm trying to get the town back into town Little League, sanctioned Little League. So I'm having a meeting next week to elect board members and stuff. It is kind of expensive. By the time you pay umpires and stuff, we're probably looking at $2,500 to $3,000. A couple of questions. One is, how do I go about trying to get funding through the town, or do I have to just get donations?
Are you changing to another Little League?
We haven't been in Little League for 14 years. I'm getting into sanctioned Little League, so it's structured for the kids.
Okay.
They need something structured. We haven't had anything in a long time. And then the other question is about using the town hall for practices and stuff, because Little League starts very early in like late October is our first game. So probably mid-February, I need to get the kids inside the gym, getting started.
Yeah, we've had pitching clinics on a regular basis.
Right, but I want to make sure I get things lined up for the middle of February.
Yeah, you would have to contact the town clerk. She's the
So-
keeper of the calendar and, you know, what rooms are being used when. So just contact the town clerk. I mean, we'd be happy to host that.
Okay, and then who do I talk to about funding and stuff, or, you know?
Well, you need, we would need to have something in writing exactly what the funding was for.
Yeah, we haven't, you know, it's all, you know, in the bylaws of the Little League, it's all insurances. Little League,
So you would need it now?
no, not now. I just want to get things rolling. It'll be in the spring, but I just want to, because we missed it last year. For some reason, we didn't get into Little League. I was kind of told we were going to be, but, so I'm taking it upon myself and getting the
Well,
board
there,
members
in
together.
the 2022 budget, there'll be adequate funds for you to do that with Little
Okay,
League.
well, I'll figure out what the umpires and the Little League dues are $733.
Yeah. Have you spoken to the Recreation Commission yet, or the Recreation Supervisor?
I've talked to a couple of people, but
Yeah, it would be a good idea to go to the next meeting and then
discussed it with them.
discuss it with them, finalize the plan, and just, you know, get a plan in place
Yeah.
so that you can, you know, go ahead and
Okay,
accomplish
I'll
that.
talk to Dawn during the week or something, and, because I just want to make sure that I have the gym for those 2 nights, because we.
Yeah, she can, she keeps the, you know, the building calendar for
Okay.
what's used. So get with her, and whatever night you want to use it. We've had, you know, we often have
I
pitching
know-
clinics
I know,
here.
I'm here for pitching clinics. I'm with the kids all the way up through. So I've been working with the younger kids. I used to do the older ones, and I ran the, you know, the travel team out of my own pocket for years. But, you know, I don't have any kids in it now. I'm just doing it for the kids. So I'm just
Well,
wanting.
you've been a volunteer for many years, and we appreciate your service. I can't tell you how much. You've done a great job with the kids.
But I want to start working with the little kids so the school team moves up a little bit. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll work with you, whatever you need to do, but you need to start with the commission and,
Started
pla-
with Little League first, so I've been dealing with
Yeah.
Little League, because that's all.
and then whatever plan you have, bring it to them, and then we'll take
Okay.
it under advisement here.
I'll go to that meeting then.
Their next meeting is on the 11th
On the 11th?
of November.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
John, I know you're looking at me, so I'm going to entertain you, but is this in addition to the pitching clinic on Wednesdays and Mondays and Wednesdays? That's
Combining the two?
Okay, so that's actually part of tonight's town clerk report, DJ, is that Kelly was able to share a recreation report. And she's already asked for permission, that's gonna be part of my report, is when I share it with them, so why not just let the board know that I'll be
Just so you know.
Monday, Wednesdays, starting 10/25, starting next week.
Yeah, but that'll end before Christmas and stuff.
Yep, that's for the next 6 weeks, and then again,
Could
starting
you
back.
go up to the microphone so that people can hear what you're saying?
Come on, John. So Kelly presented to us already that the request, that I'm going to be bringing it up to them tonight, that beginning next week for the next 6 weeks, Mondays and Wednesdays inside, time would start at 6 and we'll run until 8:30, and then again, you guys are looking to be returning back in February for 8 weeks, keeping the same days. So that request, so Kelly is your rec person who really is the one that you start with. She presented it to us, and then I'll share it with the board tonight, and then they'll give us the verbal okay, so you will actually hear it later today in the report. So that's the same.
You're on spot.
That's the
Exactly what we
same.
need. Exactly
So-
what we need.
In case nobody knows who's speaking, it's John Lamb. Somebody on the planet doesn't know
We
who
wanna
it
say
is.
Thank you. We really do, because Amenia, through this pandemic, it's hurt a lot of kids and adults, obviously.
Yes.
Just getting them outside all summer with DJ was a ball, and it got them in fresh air, et cetera, et cetera. We have to pull it back inside now because I don't want to stop. So I want to do it just for a 6-week span here, take time off for the holidays and stuff, and start again in February. So thank you.
Perfect.
So just as a reminder, since I have both of you here, so I don't have to call you separately, you're good with the room, you guys, not, you know, the access, we'll take care of all that. There is protectors for the windows, not what we use, there are actual protectors for the windows. So we can get those set up, and then you guys can keep them up throughout your program.
Got it?
Yeah, we all know.
Okay, is there any other public comment?
I forgot to ask if you guys had any questions. I forgot to ask if anybody has any questions about the ARC 38 or the building permit fee waiver.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Supervisors report. Water District upgrade, capital plan and asset inventory being reviewed. Altice negotiations are in progress. American Rescue Plan funds, first allocation of $224,671.79, and additional allocation of $917.28 has been deposited into a Town of Amenia money market savings account. Highway garage. The town board authorized the supervisor to sign the contract with Crawford and Associates to review and grade the 11 bids received for highway garage and salt shed engineering services for meeting criteria and RFP and costs. They have received the bids and are beginning the process. CDBG sidewalk grant. The Route 44 sidewalk extension to Beekman Park, $150,000 CDBG grant is being worked on by an engineer from Labella Chazen. 2022 budget. 2022 preliminary budget was given to the town clerk on October 15th. Recreation Commission recommended amounts on budget worksheets for youth programs were added to the 2022 budget, and also there is an increase for senior trips. In addition, the budget will be under the 2% tax cap. New website, please send website recommendations to administrators Annette Culligan or Nancy Nowak. Town of Amenia COVID-19. Amenia Town Hall is open for business Monday through Thursday at regular business hours by appointment only. Masks are required. Masks are available in an envelope on the second set of doors. Mask and social distancing are recommended for committee, board, commission in-person meetings. Signing the visitor log with contact information is required. COVID-19 vaccine information, call the Dutchess County Coronavirus Information Line at 845-486-3555. For anyone who is homebound, vaccine appointments can be made at 845-486-2555. Dutchess County Immunization Clinic is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. COVID-19 vaccines are available for individuals at the Family Partnership Center, 29 North Hamilton Street, Poughkeepsie. Call for appointments 845-486-3409 or 845-486-3533. Poughkeepsie Galleria, former J.C. Penney site. COVID-19 vaccines are available. Walk-ins are welcome. Free COVID-19 testing locations: Poughkeepsie Galleria, JCPenney site, Tuesdays from 3 to 7, Saturdays from 9 to noon, and CVS Plaza, Dover, Thursdays beginning 3 through 7, and online registration or walk-in. Town clerk report.
Good evening. I'd like to switch my report around and start with recreation. As I started to share earlier, Kelly did send us the recreation report. She has instructional baseball for kids 9 through 12, has ended for the year, but it looks like DJ and John Lamb have been doing pitching clinic with ages 9 through 12 on Wednesday nights at the ball field. They're asking the town board's permission for John to bring the pitching clinic inside in the gym on Mondays and Wednesdays starting next week, 10/25 for the next 6 weeks, since it's starting to get cold outside. The times will begin from 6 p.m. and go until 8:30. She'd also like to start up again in mid-February for 8 weeks, the same days. One day they will do the older kids, the other day they'll be the 9 through 12. When I spoke with John, I advised him that he'll need to follow the CDC guidelines, the same as that we did last year, and he has agreed to do so. They were able to host 2 baseball games for outside teams, one on 10/3 and the other was on 10/15. Both were good games, and it was great that they were able to rent out the fields to these teams. There will be a trunk or treat on October 30th. At 3 p.m. If you'd like to decorate your trunk, reach out to Kelly. Also, just so everybody remembers to know that you like line dancing, come on here to the town hall Thursday nights from 5:30 to 7. And following line dancing is karate from 7 to 8. They did have pickleball, which started back up on Tuesdays here at the gym from 6:30 to 7:30. Cheer is also in the gym right now on Sundays, which runs from noon to 2:30. October's, like you heard earlier, October's rec meeting was canceled, and they're looking to host their next one scheduled for November 11th, and I don't know if they realized that was a holiday, so that might end up changing. So Kelly, if you're watching, why don't you grab your team together and let me know what the next rec meeting really is, so we can share that with everyone, because November 11th is a holiday. So save the date, trunk or treat, and then permission for the gentlemen to have their annual clinic here inside. For a pitching clinic?
I make a motion to allow the dates for the pitching clinic in the gym.
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Smoji? Yes. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
You're all set, gentlemen? Since we're doing our reports, also acknowledging in our packets this evening, we have our balance sheets and our operating statement. We're not taking any action on that. It was announced earlier that the supervisor has circulated, I circulated and I received from the supervisor the 2020 preliminary budget that is available for here or at the town clerk's office if anybody wishes to see that or have copies. We were received via email last week, received from Sue Metcalf her letter of resignation. Dear Victoria and the town board members, since my career has taken me over 40 years, I've made the decision to finally retire for the second time. Her last day will be November 30th, and she'd like to discuss some options with you for the position. So to accept that resignation.
I'll make a motion that we accept with regret the resignation of Sue Metcalf as of November 30th.
Second.
I'm sorry, that was
Yeah,
Supervisor-
Damien.
Oh, Damien. That was close. Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji? Yes. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Along with that resignation, I'm going to request to authorize for that position, but being so close to the end of the year, I do have some others that I'm going to request permission to authorize.
We're not ready to advertise for that particular position.
Okay. But I'm just going to still seek authorization to advertise for the 2022 schedule of positions that are opening. Planning Board, ZBA, Recreation, Ethics. We currently have the Board of Assessment where no one filled that open seat. These are all of your positions with term limits. And then also in that announcement, I would also include all of our other volunteers, your CAC, your enhancement, waste, everyone that's open, we'll just do the full gamut at the same time. So these are your board positions. I can get permission to go ahead and start advertising for that, and then I can collect, I'm gonna hold it open for the month, just to try to get those applications. I already
Make a
received
motion
one.
to have the town clerk advertise for the
Volunteer.
potential vacant positions for board members and committee members whose terms are ending this year.
I'll second. Discussion. I think Board of Assessment Review may also have some openings.
Yeah,
Well, that was the
Oh,
one,
you
the one
got
she
it.
mentioned.
Oh, okay,
yeah, we already advertised for that, and
okay.
the
Sorry.
person is not interested in being reappointed, and we didn't get any in. And that term actually expires on September 30th of the year. It's like an off one. Unfortunately, the
missing
applications
one.
aren't, applications
Yeah,
are
it's
just
going to
not
go out with
flying.
all the rest.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that one.
No, that's okay. It's just, it's like
Yep.
when you're rolling them all through your tongue, you're just like, oh man. Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Smoji, Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
But we might not have received applications for those, but I did receive another volunteer application for the broadband committee that you guys are going to be talking about creating. This one is from Victoria Alexander. She resides right here in town. Just so you know, we've received it. It's in.
So that's 4.
That will make 4. I know you guys are working on that. And our big one for the night is presenting our vouchers that have been audited and reviewed by your bookkeeper and myself, totaling the amount of $240,454.48, with the breakdown as follows. General Fund A, $66,282.83. Highway Fund, $167,781.04. Amenia Lighting, $833.54. Wasake Lighting, $305.57. Amenia Water, $5,251.50. Again, totaling on this abstract, $240,454.48. And I need authorization for the supervisor to pay claims.
I make the motion that we authorize the supervisor to pay these claims.
Thank you, Jim. Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Smoji,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
And when I thought I was done, I'm not. It's Halloween.
Oh,
I have to be
Curfew.
the bearer of bad news to all of our friends out there. There's a curfew in Amenia if the board so elects to set one. 8 o'clock. Everyone home by 8 o'clock. Does anybody want to make that motion this year, or are we going to let them stay out all night?
The curfew is usually 8
8.
o'clock. I'll make a motion that we authorize the
Microphones up there, folks.
I'll make a motion that we authorize a curfew to be set for Halloween. I think that's Sunday, right?
It's a Sunday.
Yes, it is.
Sunday, October 31st, starting at 8 o'clock PM.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti,
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle,
Yes.
Simoji,
yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
In case we all get to be home and early night. That really concludes my report.
Okay, we don't have a highway department report. The town clerk already read the Recreation Commission report, and we have other committee report. Vicki?
Yes, the Town of Amenia CAC's committee report, October 21st, 2021. The Town of Amenia Conservation Advisory Council held its October meeting last night, and here is our report. We're working toward finalizing our primary Climate Smart Communities initiative, a road stream crossing management plan for the town of Amenia. This work was completed through a partnership with the Housatonic Valley Association and funded by a grant from New York State. The HVA has completed their final draft and shared it with the town board, the highway department, and the fire department via email on September 27th. So we're in the final review process right now. We hope you've all had a chance to look at the report. If not, please take the opportunity to do so. Any questions, comments, or concerns can be directed to the HVA and/or to the CAC. If it would be helpful, we can ask the HVA to present their work to the board. The final step then is for the town board to formally adopt this plan. We hope this will be a helpful resource for the town highway department and emergency services moving forward, and that it can be used to support future grant applications as well. We also have an update from the 10 Mile River Watershed Collaborative, a group we've been working with to develop a regional watershed management plan. We've got a draft of this plan now. We've been tasked with reviewing it and submitting comments by November 12th. With regard to the town highway garage project, the CAC was very glad to hear that the town has found a creative solution to securing a suitable property and that the project is moving forward. However, we feel that LEED certification may not be the best approach for this project, as it may add unnecessary complexity and expense. We appreciate and fully support the town's commitment to using environmentally responsible practices and materials for this project. But from our perspective, the priority should be to get the job done efficiently and in a timely manner. The environmental impacts from improper and/or inadequate storage of road salt represent a significant threat to our local water supply. We talked about some ideas for the coming year, including passive recreational uses for the old Amenia landfill, now that remediation has been completed, an Arbor Day event, possibly a tree planting, and maybe even a phenology trail. We're looking forward to getting back on track with our regular monthly meeting schedule. We meet the third Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. at the town hall. And finally, we received and accepted a formal resignation from Lorenzo Sicanolfi, which leaves us with one opening to fill. Interested residents can pick up volunteer applications at the town hall. Thank you, Lorenzo, for your service. Respectfully submitted, Michael Peak. He's the chair.
Okay, are there any other committee reports?
Jim and I sat in with the wastewater committee. Was that last night? It was a productive meeting. We had Erin from Time Bond join. She presented an outline for her engagement for the next wastewater feasibility study. We had great attendance. We were able to record, and the recording of that meeting will be posted on our YouTube shortly. And it was good. The next steps for the committee involve doing some outreach to the community, putting together a survey, trying to help Erin and her team with the district boundary delineation, as well as identify some possible sites for the facilities. So a good start to that project. Anything to add?
No, just that it's going to be a difficult process to find something suitable for it that makes sense financially. So that's part of the thing that she's going to try and get to us with some proposals for that.
She did note also that if there were any sites that the committee or the town wanted to identify, that she highly suggested we try to do any perk testing, any on-site testing before the snow came, before the ground froze, because otherwise we have to wait until next year. So
I did hear from one of your committee members, and it sounds like they were interested in the past and interested in pursuing again the possibility of a property south of here on 343. So I called the owner just to see if in fact he had any plans to sell. So I agree. I think that the sooner we find property owners who are actually willing and there's appropriate land to be considered that is as close as possible to the Hamlet Center, that would be great. So that parcel is about 1 acre, and it's just a half a mile or less, so.
Well, she said that anything more than a mile.
Oh, too
from the center of
expensive.
town, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not-
yeah.
not making
No,
any
it's
sense.
just on the other side of, just as you're kind of on the edge of town, across from Brookside.
She had a presentation that she put together, a little slideshow. I'll see if I can get a copy of that to circulate to the board, because it was very well laid out, informative. But that slideshow is part of that recording. If anybody's curious, they can go check it out there. And she does go through a couple of the maps and some of the findings from prior feasibility studies that were done. So-
Excellent. Can I mention an update from the Housing Board? We were able to, at least 2 of us from the Housing Board, I'm a liaison and the chair, Leo Blackman, was able to meet with Krista Hines, the executive director of Hudson River Housing, and Mary Ling, also of Hudson River Housing, and 2 Poughkeepsie building inspectors. And we met at the Little Victorian across the street from Welsh Sanitation and next to the ball fields. That building, I understand, is in the process of either being condemned and demolished, or the property owner, as I understand from the resolution, or whoever's going to own that property, needs to have a schedule of repairs that would meet the building inspector's requirements, so structural damages, the tree removed, et cetera. The 2 Poughkeepsie inspectors were able to assure us that the building itself is secure, that there is some water in the basement. Well, I won't go into the details. I'm just saying that Hudson River Housing is extremely interested in pursuing that property for affordable housing in Amenia. And I think all of us are very excited about the possibilities. So they are going to be following through. Hudson River Housing is taking it and doing the numbers to see what it would cost to make affordable units out of that house.
Is there any other committee reports? Resolution number?
53.
Resolution accepting payment in lieu of providing workforce housing from Silo Ridge Ventures, LLC, pursuant to the Town of Amenia Workforce Housing Law. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia adopted a workforce housing law in recognition that people with moderate incomes who work in Amenia and/or provide volunteer services to the town lack opportunity to find housing within the town that is affordable to them. Whereas pursuant to the workforce housing law, any development of 10 or more dwelling units must have at least 10% of the units classified as workforce housing units. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia, by Resolution Number 35 of 2014, adopted a local law establishing a fee to be paid in lieu of providing workforce housing as an alternative to the construction of workforce housing. Whereas the Town Board, pursuant to Resolution Number 36 of 2021, authorized the creation of a town workforce housing trust fund for the purpose of receiving funds from residential contractor developers for payments and/or fees received and/or gifts collected by the town pursuant to the town's workforce housing law. Whereas Silo Ridge Ventures, LLC, is developing a mixed-use resort community which currently has 245 approved dwelling units requiring a total of 245 times 10% equals 24.5 rounded up to 25 units to be classified as workforce housing units. Whereas pursuant to the calculations that set forth in section 121-42 and 3A of the workforce housing law, the fee to be paid in lieu of constructing workforce housing is 611,000, whereas SRV is in agreement with the total amount due of 611,000, and whereas pursuant to 124-1 42C4 of the Town Code, the payment of $611,000 is to be paid in phases, whereas the first phase requires SRV to pay 10% of the payment in lieu of fee upon receiving certificates of occupancy for 25% plus one of the market rate units, whereas 25% of 245 units plus one unit is a total of 62 market rate units receiving certificates of occupancy, whereas Michael Seggleton, Town of Amenia Building Inspector and Code Enforcement Officer, has confirmed that SRV has been issued 62 certificates of occupancy, and whereas SRV has confirmed receipt of 62 certificates of occupancy and hereby agrees with the calculations for the amounts due as payment in lieu of providing workforce housing, in accordance with the workforce housing law. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The recitations set forth above are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein. SRV concurs with the calculation for the total amount due of $611,000, 10% of $61,100 of which is to be paid immediately, as SRV has now been issued 62 certificates of occupancy. 3, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia hereby acknowledges receipt and accepts the payment in the amount of $61,100 and directs the Town Supervisor to deposit funds into the Town of Amenia Workforce Housing Trust Fund to be administered by the Town Board in accordance with workforce housing law. 4, the Town Board hereby authorizes, excuse me, the Town Board hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to execute any and all documentation necessary to deposit said funds into the Workforce Housing Trust Fund. The Town Board hereby directs Michael Seggleton, Town of Amenia Building Inspector, to refrain from issuing any further certificates of occupancy to SRV till such payment is received and deposited into the Workforce Housing Trust Fund. Is there a motion?
I make the motion that we accept the resolution accepting payment in lieu of providing workforce housing from Silo Ridge Ventures, LLC, pursuant to the Town of Amenia Workforce Housing Law.
A second?
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 54. Adoption of preliminary budget for fiscal year 2022 and establishing a public hearing date. Whereas the Town Supervisor has filed the 2022 tentative budget for the Town of Amenia pursuant to Section 106 of the Town Law, whereas the Town Clerk delivered the tentative budget to the Town Board in accordance with Town Law Section 106, whereas Town Law Section 108 requires the town to hold a public hearing on a preliminary budget on or before the Thursday immediately following the general election in November, whereas Town Law Section 109 requires that the Town Board to adopt a final budget on or before November 20th, 2021, whereas the Town Board has reviewed the tentative budget, has made changes thereto deemed reasonable and appropriate, and intends to adopt the preliminary budget herewith. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. Recitations set forth are incorporated in this resolution as if fully set forth and adopted herein pursuant to and in accordance with the provisions of Section 106 of Town Law and other applicable provisions of law. The annexed tentative budget is hereby approved and adopted as a preliminary budget for the Town of Amenia for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022. Preliminary budget adopted herein shall be filed in the office of the Town Clerk, the Town of Amenia, where it shall be available for public inspection Monday through Thursday between 9 and 3. Can also be downloaded from the town's website at www.ameniany.gov or available by email upon request to the Town Clerk, Dawn Marie Klinger, at dklinger@ameniany.gov. That the Town Board of the Town of Amenia shall meet at Town Hall located at 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, on Thursday, November 4, 2021, at 7 p.m. for a regular town board meeting for the purposes of conducting a public hearing on the preliminary budget. That the town clerk of the Town of Amenia is hereby directed and authorized to publish the notice of public hearing in the format annexed hereto in the official newspaper of the Town of Amenia at least 5 days prior to the scheduled public hearing, and the town clerk shall cause a copy of said notice to be posted on the official signboard of the town no later than 5 days before the scheduled public hearing. I make that motion.
Second. I defer.
Okay. There was a race. Supervisor Purdy.
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle.
Yes.
Samoji.
Yes.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
I believe the resolution for Town of Amenia scanning grant contract, we need to table that until you get the rest of the information.
Correct. We did not receive the information in time for
You need to
tonight's meeting.
talk into the,
Correct. We did not receive the information in time for tonight's meeting, so it'll be ready for next
so we're
meeting.
ready for the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Other matters?
I'm sorry, can I just reiterate the date for the public hearing for the budget?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's November 4th, 7 p.m. We're going to do that here?
Yes.
We'll probably, we have 2 public hearings that night. We also have the one for the marijuana law, and I was thinking that we may want to have that in the auditorium. But we can talk about that.
All right.
Okay.
Mike, you can't broadcast from the auditorium, right?
I don't think I've got a good enough interconnection to stream from down on that end either.
Well, what we can do then is have people come in wait in the hall and then just come in one at a time and have them be socially distant. I think I was planning on having the constables here that night anyway, to keep order, so that we can do it. Okay, under other matters, the board received the operating statement and the balance sheet for the period ending 9/30/2021. And we have a transfer of funds.
55?
That would be 55. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 1680401 data processing by $5,000 and decreasing expense line 90508.01 unemployment insurance by $5,000 for additional costs. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing revenue line 2260.01 public safety services by $231.92 and increasing expense line 30204.01 public safety community service by $231.92 for sheriff's services reimbursed by Congregation Beth David. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 16204.01.064 building CE mowing by $5,435 and decreasing expense line 16204.01.054 building CE electrical by $2,339.02 and decreasing expense line 19104.01.80 special items unallocated insurance by $2,433.98 and decrease 13804.01 fiscal agent fees by $662 for contractual mowing costs. Whereas budget amendment in the general fund, increasing expense line 35104.01.074 dog control supplies by $335.23 and decrease 35104.01.042 dog control board strays by $335.23 for unanticipated supply expense. Whereas budget amendment, the general fund, increasing revenue line 2555.01 building permits by $30,000, increasing expense line 14204.01 attorney CE by $30,000 for unanticipated legal costs. Whereas budget amendment in the highway fund, increasing expense line 50104.03 admin contractual by $22.50 and decrease 51424.03 snow removal CE by $22.50 for collective bargaining attorney fee. Can I make that motion?
Second.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
I believe one other item we need to do under other matters is the request to waive fees by ARC 38 for their building fees and other fees. Ian, do you want to explain how the zoning law works for that?
So for this particular action, there is no specific exemption under our code or general exemption for not-for-profits for building permit fees. So there is some areas of the code where they do provide for specific exemptions, but that there isn't a general exemption for that type of activity. My understanding is they are looking to build a greenhouse that's more than 1,000 square feet. That greenhouse will also have a wood-burning stove in it as well. Both of those permits, I believe the total cost for those permits would be in the neighborhood of $620 total. Would be the fees that were being requested to be waived. And I had sent an email earlier to the board with regards to some of this in response to Damien's email. I don't know if everybody has seen that or not.
So do we need, if we're not going to waive, do we need to do a motion?
I don't think you need a necessarily, well, you could do a motion, not waiving it, and then follow up in a written request if that's what the town board would like to do.
So we don't have to do anything?
No, I would do, if you're going to, I think you should follow up in writing with them, and you could do a motion from the floor for that.
Okay, I make a motion that we do not waive the fees for ARC 38 for their construction. Sir?
I second it.
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Do you mind if, I just have a couple of questions. Do you mind if you go to the, so I just want to be sure that you understand sort of so there are some exemptions in our code for nonprofits. Obviously.
May I speak? Originally, we had intended to supply the fees for the building permit. We had come to town hall about 6-7 months ago. There was a different secretary working in the building department. She told us that the fees were waived because we were a nonprofit. After 6 months of not getting a building permit, we showed up and we're like, what's going on? And we were told by the secretary that had come back that we could present to the board to have the fees waived, that it was not likely, but we decided we'd try. So.
Thank you for that clarification. I think just to echo what Ian was saying is that our code doesn't have any explicit exemptions in it for nonprofits for permitting fees. There are other exemptions in there. For example, I believe the other one is gatherings for nonprofits, right?
For the gathering permit, there are specific exemptions that are set forth in the code, but that there's no general nonprofit exemption for building permit fees.
So I think in order to accommodate your request, we couldn't just do it on behalf of one nonprofit in town. We'd have to pass a law changing the zoning law so that we could do that equitably. I just wanted to be sure that you sort of understood that. As far as the direction you got from the building department, I'm unaware of that, and I apologize if you got some erroneous information. So, did you have any other questions or?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes.
Samoji?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Are there any other town board comments?
I have several.
Okay. Speak into the microphone.
Speaking to the mic. Good evening, everyone. Let me pull this a little bit closer to me. That's a tad. Oops, there we go. Well, there's several. One, I'd like to start with the Wausau Fire Company is having a fund drive this year. If you haven't gotten anything in the mail to make a donation to the fire company, and the fire company is in your district, in Wausau, please feel free to give them a donation so they can keep doing their good work. The VFW on Sunday, November 7th, is starting their breakfasts again, and will be from 7:30 to 11. So that's Sunday, November 7th, that's starting. Now, the senior holiday party is going to be on Wednesday, December 8th. People are still signing up. The deadline to get your money to me is November 16th. So please get your money to me. I've already arranged for our florist, the florist to bring us our flowers for the party, and the musician. That's all scheduled for that. The bus is scheduled and everything. I just need to get the exact count of people who are coming so that I can give that to the proprietors of the Pond Restaurant. Okay. The list of trips for 2022, there's a group of them, and I'll read them off, but they'll be getting out to you. Not all of these are confirmed because they haven't given me exact dates yet, because this is the way it goes. The Villa Roma in Carlson, New York, in September. It's going to be like the Jimmy Sturgis group. AquaTurf Club, which would be our first one, is in March, and that's for a St. Patrick's Day event. I have Hunter Down Hills, a playhouse down here. We all know it's a beautiful place, but it is a bit of a drive. The Log Cabin is going to get back to me with the event for the Lobster Fest that we will like. And the White Plains Performing Arts Center in April will have a play called the Hilton Sisters, and it's a musical, and it's supposed to be very good, and they'll be getting the final flyer to me with when, how, and where in April. And then, of course, December will be our holiday party. So that's for 2022. I just want to make a little side note here, because I know people go trick-or-treating, and I know they like to come down to Tally-Ho and trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treating at Tally-Ho is going to be on Sunday, October 31st, from 2 to 4 p.m. That's it, 2 hours, folks. No trick-or-treating at night. We're not having any of that. You must park your car and walk, okay? And I think I have everything covered. I hope I didn't forget anybody's event they asked me to mention. Thank you.
Is there any other town board comments?
I will go pretty quick. On the events calendar, after the trunk or treat, feel free to head down to Wausau. The Wausau Project is hosting a Haunted Hamlet event from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. There will be trick-or-treating stations, children-appropriate art installations, some games
What date is
and
that,
activities.
Damien?
It is October 30th.
Okay.
3 to 7 p.m. Pretty much all over the downtown in Wausau. And sir, I'm sorry, your name was Daniel?
Yeah.
If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
BAS, so I had a call with Ryan from, Edmonds, I guess they're called now. And we were talking through some of the different technology procurements the town makes. So as you guys know, we get computers from them, we get our Windows operating system from them, we buy our Microsoft Office licenses from them. And then, as you guys also know, a year and a half ago, roughly, at this point, we migrated from sort of a computer here at Town Hall that serves all our email to Microsoft's government cloud, Office 365. So the way that it works out right now is that we are kind of, not exactly, but kind of paying for the same things twice, right? So with our Office 365 licenses, we get a bunch of cloud storage, which is in Microsoft's secure government cloud and backed up and all that. We also have a server here at Town Hall where we store our files, and then we pay BAS to do a backup service there. We get access to the full suite of Microsoft Office apps through our Office 365 licensing, and we're also paying for licenses on the computers we procure for Town Hall employees. Again, all the sort of folks in town who have email addresses have access to the web suite of software. So, we quickly realized there isn't an easy solution for this because there's a lot of workflows here at Town Hall that people are accustomed to. There would be training that would be needed one way or the other. But if Dawn Marie and Victoria, if you're both willing, and maybe somebody from the building department, we thought it would be a good idea to get back together in like 2 or 3 weeks as a larger group, just to talk about it. I mean, it's, for next year, we're set with what we put in the budget, I believe, for the Dell licenses and for BASs. But moving forward, I think we should have a more streamlined strategy for that so we're not overpaying. That's it. Good chat. So if you guys are down, I'll find a time. We'll do that.
I have a few items as well. November 11th at 11 a.m. is our Veterans Day ceremony. It'll be headed up by our VFW Post 5444 of Dover Plains, but it's held in Amenia, right across from Four Brothers, in front of what was the M&T Bank. And I hope everybody will attend. Our recreation meeting is November 11th at 11 a.m. as well. At 7 p.m. So I know it's a holiday for some, not all of us. Is there a reason why we couldn't have our recreation meeting there?
You want to let them in, you can let them in, but it's a holiday, so, if public want, many may not think that there's a meeting because it's a holiday and there'll be a sign that says Town Hall's closed because it's Veterans Day, so.
So it's a rescheduled meeting, so
They may not know. If they're still looking to meet, then they're going to really want to put some PR out there that they're still meeting on a holiday.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell them they can't, but if anybody else wants to advise them.
Okay.
Meeting on a legal holiday.
So that's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, November 11th at 7 p.m., unless we change that. And I just wanted to make sure I understood Judy Moran, is that Judy? That you had stated that our reduction in the assessed value in 2019 was the equivalent of reducing $100 million of tax money to the Weebatuck school.
No.
If you're going to respond, I'm sorry, Judy. They can't hear you on TV land.
I think what she was saying to the general the general roll. Right.
Anyone who counts on the general assessment, the total assessment of the town is the total assessment of the town. The reason it has a particular effect on the school district is because the school district budget is not passed until May, before the tentative assessment is filed and before the final assessment roll is filed. So when we go to, the town has until January to set their tax rates based on the total assessment roll. So when $100 million was taken off the assessment roll, virtually at the last minute before the school bills went out, the school tax bills went out, the effect would have been disastrous. And I doubt very many people know that, and that's why I'm bringing it up, is because the lag between when the final assessment roll is filed for the town and when the school district has to decide what their budget is going to be and what our guess about the final assessment is going to be is significant. This was a whole other thing. Had those orders not come down, and they were orders on consent, they were negotiated and agreed on, but had those come down 5 days later, we would have been in serious trouble. And I think it bears looking at that for future, because that kind of thing just shouldn't happen. It has a real effect on, as this one turns out, only the government. Of course, ones that are assessments, certioraries that are won at any later date, I mean, like I said, we pay $83,000, $63,000 right now. The school board and the town are working together on another certiorari, which is not, by the way, Silo Ridge, which has the possibility for another significant impact. And I just want people to understand that these things have a real-life impact if they are lost. It's fine to say, well, they really should pay more, but if we're losing them, we have to pay back money that causes problems, not just for the school district, but for the town, the county, as I say, the fire, water, everybody.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure people understand that, that's all.
Can I ask a question to our tax collector here? Just, and Judy, if you could stay up for a second. When is our final roll due to the county?
I believe it's due May 31st or thereabouts.
July 1.
It's July, oh, that's right, because the grievance is the end of May.
That's right.
And it's due July 1. And so these changes were made after the final roll was filed on August 1st.
So, and just for the general public to understand, the general assessed value of the town is basically what every parcel in the town is worth combined. Like if you owned every single parcel, that's how much it would be worth. So in 2019, our assessed value of the town was $638 million, $828,000.
Yeah, so 100 million was a bit of a hit.
Well, in 2020, it went to 830 million. So
yes, thanks to Silo Ridge mainly.
2018 was 614 million. 2019, 638 million, and 2020 was 830 million. Was the and then 863 million was last year. So just so folks know what we're talking about, when that number goes up and down, that's the impact to the school board as well as the town. Everybody who needs to budget against what they're going to raise as a percentage of that total assessment.
Right. The total assessment has nothing to do with the school board because we don't have any right whatsoever to influence it.
But your
But we have to live with it,
that.
whatever
Right.
it is.
Correct.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy, for making that more clear. It's my understanding that we do contact the school district when we're entering into changes in certiorari. Is that correct, or am I?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So the other last point I'd like to make is that Deirdre Houston was very kind to offer to work with me to try and get in on this last final phase of money that's available from the American Rescue Funds from the county. It's set aside money for youth programs. I know you understand that I'm very passionate about trying to get the auditorium in better shape for holding youth programs like our dance program. And I would just want to let you know that I am interested in working with her to try and use a maximum of $20,000, is that right, to purchase the sound system equipment that we've been renting every year from Ballantyne's, but not, it's not ideal. We need to have a fixed system. We need to have a portable PA system. I had to beg, borrow, and steal for our November 11th Veterans Day program. So I know there are programs that there are real physical equipment and needs that we have for the youth programs that we have in town. And I would like just you to know that I am going to be working as hard as I can to do something before the year end. And the maximum of $20,000 doesn't come around every day, but I do need to work with a nonprofit to make this, because it is not eligible for town municipalities. Is it available to schools as well? I'm sorry, I've forgotten.
Yes, it is.
But I can't work with the school, I don't think. We had
It is
talked about
available for nonprofits and 501c3s. Our feeling at the county level was that towns, municipalities, school districts are all eligible and will be getting their own ARP dollars.
And we do
So-
have those, but those are set aside for, it looks like, infrastructure, which is desperately needed in this town. The
Correct,
fact
but-
that you set it aside, particularly for youth programs, is really, I think, a very smart move, because I think the kids have suffered a lot, and we need to invest in those youth.
Our feeling was at the time that, of course, the youth have suffered greatly through this, and that their ability to fundraise was hampered because they just couldn't get out through the pandemic. So we thought that the youth services, 501c3s, and nonprofits were the most significantly impacted by funding. So it was an opportunity for us to replace some of the funding, and it is a maximum of $20,000. And libraries, the maximum was $50,000, and that's why the Amenia Library got to $50,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to work with you, by the way.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
Well, that's the Create, Learn, and Play funding, correct? That the Amenia Library was awarded $50,000.
That's all I have.
Are there any other town board comments? If not, then I make a motion to leave regular meeting and go into executive session for employment history or appointment of an individual.
Second.
And the town clerk is excused.
It's 8:11. Supervisor Parodi?
Yes.
Councilpersons Doyle?
Yes?
Emoji?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Michelle said that.
I'll be right back. I know he has to.